Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you being here. If you're one of my oldie but goodies trolls, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about demonetization because some people don't know that that's a thing. So for us who create content, there's a lot of stuff that we need to be aware of. And even if you don't do videos, I hope that this will be informational to you for those you know who watch videos. Feel free to share it, subscribe, join, leave your comments below, thumbs up if you appreciate this content, all that good stuff. So yes, a channel can be demonetized. There are numerous reasons. Yes, I have my notes here. It's a lot, and I think it's a lot more to it than people realize. And I have seen an influx of videos saying my channel was demonetized. This is what happened. I had to start over. And I'm just like, whoa. But even aside from that, it's been happening to different people over the years. And maybe they just didn't say anything, or maybe they didn't come back to that channel if it was restored, or maybe they just was like, forget YouTube. I don't know. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you reasons why channels can be demonetized, and then we're going to go back. I was going to say I'll say each thing and then go back and hash it out, but I think we're just going to just say it and hash it out so that we can just keep it moving and not feel like we have to backtrack. So a channel can be demonetized for having offensive content. What does that mean? We all have different perspectives, different experiences. Something might offend me that doesn't offend you. Something may offend you that doesn't offend me. So what exactly does that mean? They're talking about harassment. If you're a channel, if you're on here doing videos, harassing people, degrading people, if you're bullying people, especially protected, what's the word I'm looking for? Especially protected classes of people, and if you're doing a lot of hate speech, that's what they're talking about. So if you're doing that, you may be demonetized. Maybe just that video, or if your entire channel is based around that type of stuff, your whole channel might be. And we're going to talk about warnings later. We're going to talk about channel strikes later as well. YouTube does take into account dark humor. So if once in a while, and it's not really how you feel, but you're just like, shock value type of thing, which channels do. And I don't recommend it because it can be a fine line, but YouTube does recommend, and I'm saying YouTube meaning those behind who is looking at your appeal if you do one. They do understand dark humor, but I recommend not doing it. Do not make racial slurs. Do not make threats to people or certain classes of people. Just do not do it. Do not have content depicting self-harm or unaliving, yourself or someone else doing that, or of course not essay at all. And we don't even say that word here, that phrase here, and even DV. So certain times you'll hear someone say just letters, and it's because of they don't want to possibly have a strike or have a warning. Other sensitive areas can be different ailments such as, eating disorders or things like that, and definitely nothing dealing with the harm of children. Just don't, because YouTube will come for you, and yeah, it's not going to be good for you. And do not intentionally demean people. Right now, with the way politics are and all of the newstainment, as I call it, there's a lot of name calling, there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of, I don't want to say bullying, a lot of name calling, and a lot of making fun of certain people. Oh, I don't feel bad for you because you did this. That's what you get type of thing. And honestly, it annoys me because to me, that's just immature to do that. And I do feel like it's childish to have that type of behavior. If you feel that way, fine. But to publicly just say, this is what you get, FAFO, I don't care. But the thing is with that, and why it annoys me is, number one, they're still a person. They exercise their right to vote, whatever. A situation happened where before they were boisterous about it, now they're doing a video in tears about it. I don't find joy in someone else's pain and sorrow. And it bothers me that quite a few, it seems like a lot, and I don't watch the videos, I just see the thumbnails, and I'm just like, I am not watching that. Like, what type of person are you if you find joy in that? You know what I mean? And if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, but keep it to yourself. Do not have your YouTube content based around that type of stuff, because yeah, YouTube does not like that. And so also just be mature. If you're even here watching me, you're an adult. Be a mature adult and not a little boy in a grown man's body or a little girl in a grown woman's body. Be a mature adult And if you want to say something, just rephrase it before it comes out of your mouth. Like, take a moment and just be like, let me get my thoughts together. Let me write down some notes to keep me on track or something. So you can say what you want to say without being demeaning or degrading or making fun of someone else's pain or sorrow. And also another reason it bothers me is the bottom line is all of us, unless we're wealthy, are going to be affected by the vote. So to say, oh, they found out, even if we knew or had a suspicion of what something was going to turn into and that's what's happening, we're still affected by that. So even knowing it in advance or feeling that because we believed what was told by a certain person, we're still affected by that too. And so why is it okay to make fun of or laugh at someone else who didn't understand it and then it's happening to them? And so it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Images of violence in any type of way, and even gaming channels. And I don't watch gaming channels because I'm not into gaming, but I know a lot of people who do. But some of that material can be very violent. So even be careful with that. For me, just err on the side of caution. If you even think, and I hope this video is helping you to think about these things, if you even think that it might be a problem, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Also, not promoting risky or illegal behavior. And I know that there's some prank channels, go into a store, do such and such and leave, and your friend is recording it. Just don't. Just don't do it. And yes, it can be done for humor, but also it's illegal what you're showing somebody doing. And you're recording it and showing it. So if authorities do see that, they're going to know who you are. So sometimes I'm in a state of disbelief, like, really? A perfect example would be J6. They thought they were right. And because of the pardons, some of them really do think they were right. But it was public. You saw faces. They were like, hey, they just did not care because they thought they were right. So, but that wasn't the content of somebody's video. That was live. It was happening. It was on a reputable news channel. So there is a difference. Like, there is a difference between newstainment and actual official news where they're showing facts and where they're not giving their opinions or their reactions. They're just telling you what happened. And, oh gosh, earlier today, maybe 30 minutes ago, I saw thumbnails about a plane crash in Philadelphia. I grew up in Camden, New Jersey, which is across the bridge from Philadelphia. And even where I live now, I'm 40 minutes away from Philadelphia, maybe 50 to North Philadelphia where the plane crashed. So yes, a news channel can do that. But if your entire channel is just showing disasters, don't do that. Let the official news channels do that. And let the reaction channels do that because that's what they do. But also, if you pay attention, they say things a certain way as well. You know what I mean? And so also misleading metadata. If you are constantly doing clickbait titles, sooner or later, YouTube is going to come sending you an email. And also misleading descriptions, misleading tags, misleading thumbnails. Because some people do just click on a video because of the thumbnail. I look at the thumbnail, then I look at the title. Because I want to know what this video is about and not just this thumbnail that is designed to get people's attention. It's designed to evoke some type of emotion in you so that you will watch the video. But if that's your pattern, or if you know someone that that's their pattern and you're cool with them enough to be like, hey, you might want to rethink that, or at least look it up. You can look up this stuff. You can look up the YouTube rules. Like it's there. It's easily accessible. And so this is nothing that I'm just making up or somebody said. No, I looked it up. And you can look up stuff too. And if you do content, I recommend that you do, because more and more it seems like people are popping up with them videos saying, I had, however many thousands of subscribers and they took my channel down. And what I'll do is I'll click on their face and it'll go straight to their channel. And I look to see how many subscribers they have. And I'm like, wow, they only have 3,000. But the tagline was like, I had X amount. So I can tell that, yeah, this is not the same channel. And so you have to start over. But what I find that happens is there was someone, I was just curious. And I did watch a video of someone saying, oh, my channel was demonetized and I had to start over. And sometimes, because of how they present the information, because of how they tell their story of what happened, people will feel bad and subscribe. So their numbers will skyrocket because they're like, oh my gosh, I'll help you, I'll subscribe. But the thing is, even with subscribing, you still need watch time. If you're starting over to get 4,000 watch hours, if people subscribe and don't watch, that's not really helping. So that's a different video. And I am going to do a few more videos about different things. We talked about monetization already. Now we're talking about demonetization. And then there's a few other things that we're going to talk about. And if you do find this helpful, or if you like my personality or whatever, feel free to come back, turn on your notifications, go ahead and subscribe, and also leave your thoughts below. And if there's anything particular you would like to hear me talk about, and I will look things up. Here and there, I will sprinkle in, some, if I had a personal experience with that, and there is something I had a personal experience with, I think it was like 2 years ago, and it turned out well. It was a learning experience for me, but that's for later. But for the most part, I'm going to tell you information that you can look up for yourself, or firsthand knowledge of something that happened. Also, your video cannot or should not have, it should not be spam. It should not be dishonest. It should not be a scam. Oh, well, click here for this, or click here for that. Those, pyramid stuff, or get rich quick, or, stuff like that, because it is frowned upon. And there are quite a few channels, and there is a way around things, but you can't beat the system but for so long. And so I say just don't do it. There have been videos about, or news, I should say, about not trying to get people to go off of YouTube. And for some giveaways, this was years ago, there was an influx of creators doing a community post saying, I will never ask you to send me your information. I will never ask you to click on whatever link, because some of these channels, it seems to be mostly like the larger channels, 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, where it looked like the reply was from the person who did the video, but it wasn't. And it was saying, oh, click here to claim your prize, or do this, or do that. And so the content creator would do a post saying, this is not me, do not ever do that. Y'all know I will never ask y'all to go outside of YouTube, such and such. I'm not on my makeup Instagram anymore, and so I do have my email down below. So if someone wants to contact me, they can contact me there, or Blue Sky, and I have that link below too. I have a lot of information down below. But I'm talking about when they're saying, go to this link, and it's like, what is that? Do not click on it. And so that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. If you're watching a video and it's about, oh, click here, do this, do that, no. And eventually YouTube will catch up with that. If your content is not suitable for minors, excuse me for that, my throat, there is a button that you can check, when you're going through your tags and descriptions and all of that stuff. It'll say, is this content made for children? And I always click no, because I'm in my mid-50s. I'm not doing like children's books or, whatever for children. And especially on my other channel, my adult channel, I do have that restricted. And there are ways around it too. When you restrict your own channel, it's like they need to be 18 or over. If someone tries to click on that video, they'll have to log in. And because of your login, YouTube knows, are you of age or not? But there are ways around it. You can just go on somebody else's, log in under somebody else's stuff. And there are some kids who are savvy about that. But so I do have that restricted. And some videos you will see where you'll see the thumbnail and you go to click it, and it'll ask you a question or something like that, because it's trying to verify that you are of age to see that video. Or there will just be, a blurb saying, this is such and such and such. Do you want to continue? And you can click yes or no. And so, but I always click no, that my videos are not for children. Even though I talk about makeup, I talk about skincare, now I'm talking about YouTube stuff, it's still not for children. Children meaning under the age of consent. And so you can take that for what you want, but just beware that. And also I do use foul language sometimes too. And there's some family members that I have who are teenagers, like young teens. And I make it a point not to curse around them, but then I'll hear like another family member just like blah blah, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well I'm not going to do that, because young minds are impressionable. But do what you feel is right when you're around your family. And so I am aware to, this is not for children, and it's not a children's channel. So another thing is, the next thing is explicit language and slurs in your thumbnail. That's why you'll see FAFO. You'll see, asterisks in the middle of a word. You know what the word is, but they left out a letter and put an asterisk instead, and that'll be in a thumbnail. So we know what it means, but they're not being blatantly graphic by just actually putting what it is, because if they put that word, they're going to be flagged. And if they do that enough times, they may get a strike, they may get, a warning or whatever. And I remember years ago, 2023, YouTube did change their guidelines to allow foul language less offensive than the F word. And even for movies, if it's PG-13, well, PG movies, they cannot use foul language, to my knowledge. Let me know down below if I'm wrong. PG-13 means you may hear the F word at least once. Only one time can you use it in that movie. And I remember one of the Elia movies, Sanaa Lathan was in that one. And I was so excited because she had an action character where usually she plays, somebody's love interest. And so I'm like, finally, a different role. But then her next movie after that was a love interest. And I'm just like, girl. But that might be more challenging for her as an actress. I don't know. But anyway, she has said, somebody else had already said the F word in the movie, I believe. And the part like in Predator when Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, you one ugly mother, you know what I mean? And that's how she did it in the movie. She's like, you are one ugly mother. And then it like faded out her voice. And so that's what I'm talking about. So even in movies, it's the same. PG-13, you can say that word one time. That's it. Sometimes, depending on my mood, I say it more than that. But they changed the guidelines to where they recommend at least the first 30 seconds, you do not use that word. You do not use any offensive language within the first 30 seconds. And the intro, they allot 7 seconds for that. So do not use foul language in that, particularly the F word. And I remember when, I'm not going to say her name, but those of you who watch her may know she curses a lot. Or she used to. A lot. And I remember this specifically when they updated their guidelines. She did a video saying how they had demonetized all of her videos. And she was saying how you couldn't even like put a search in to find her videos because of the cursing. And so she was saying how she didn't know the future of her channel, what she was going to do. And, she didn't want to leave YouTube, but they weren't putting out any of her videos. And she said, even if you search for them, you couldn't find them. And I'm like, damn. And so here I go, right? And so I felt bad because I don't always do my intro now, but I'm known for saying this is the Crazy Troll Nation. And then I explain why I call my channel the Crazy Troll Nation. Her intro was using a word. And so she was known for that. And so she did rephrase her intro, and now for her videos, I think there's a text intro that scrolls, and it'll say, like sometimes in movies where you just see words kind of scrolling up or sentences, and so there's a scroll up of saying this channel contains, blah 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 blah, and I do think it's more than 7 seconds, and then she'll come on and talk about things. But I'm glad that she found a way to work around it. And she did say she was going to experiment with different things and see what felt right, because I do talk about in my intro being your authentic self. And so I know that if that's who you are, and I do believe that's who she was and is, to have to like censor yourself, it feels inauthentic. You know what I mean? And so, but she did find a workaround. She would silence out certain words, or there's another channel where she'll put a quack when she says a certain word. And I'm like, how intense do you need to be watching while you're editing to like catch everything, to put a sound on top of that or to mute that out? But she did find a workaround for it, and I'm really glad because I do enjoy her channel. And so I was just like, when she did that video, I was like, oh my gosh. And she has a nice size channel. And so I was just like, whoa. But I'm glad that she found a workaround. And that's the thing. If something happens or if they update something else and it affects you in a negative way, it can be heartbreaking because you're like, this is what I do. This is who I am. And now you're telling me I can't do that. And not only can I not do that now, but all the videos before, you can't find them. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's about what this is about. Just know what's allowed and what's not so that you don't end up in that situation. We already talked about essay stuff or adult stuff, and I have a separate channel for that. And they're talking about extreme stuff. If you're a doctor, like an official medical doctor or something like that, you know, certain graphs and charts you can put up, which is different than the type of stuff that they're talking about. Like, just don't. I remember a long time ago, I don't even know if I want to say it, she was talking about doing it with her dog. And I'm just like, what? And her channel didn't stay up long, but she had like tons and tons and tons of subscribers. And I'm just like, ugh. And if that's your thing, you know, that's your thing. But I was just like, YouTube, let's that be on here, because she was explicit about and yeah, she's no longer, her channel's no longer here, so I don't know where she's at now. And I had only watched part of one video because I'm like, this title cannot be correct, this must be clickbait. It was not clickbait. I was just like, whoa. But yeah, she's no longer here. You can get a copyright claim, which is different than a strike on your channel. And with a claim, that channel can be, not the channel, that video can be or will be demonetized. And so be sure to use royalty-free music in your videos, or royalty-free videos, like if you put up a little clip or something. I don't do none of that. Number one, for me, I'm special. When I watch videos with music, it disturbs me. Not in like an emotional way, but I'm unable to focus on what the person is saying. So it's like I'm hearing this sound, this music, but then I'm trying to hear what you're saying. And then sometimes I just have trouble hearing what the person is saying. So to use a word, overstimulated. When I hear music and videos, I'm overstimulated. Like, it's too much going on. Like, just talk to me. And so somebody asked me before why I don't have music in my videos. I said, because I don't like hearing music in videos. And for some sounds and some noises, it just hits my ear in a way that it's just like, true story. When I used to go for massages, I would always have them turn off, you know, the spa music, the gongs and the waterfalls and stuff like that, because it was just something about how the pitch would hit my ear. It was just like grating my nerves. And I would always say, well, can you turn it down? And a few would say, do you want me to turn it off? I'm like, yes, please, that'd be great. And so even in a relaxing setting like that, if I'm not able to tolerate music that's supposed to be soothing, that most people love, even in videos, I'm just like, I have trouble. And then sometimes it might be a little too loud in some places and I really can't hear the content creator. And sometimes I hear both. And so my ear and my mind is like, which one am I supposed to be listening to? But if you're going to use music, just make sure it's royalty free. And another reason I don't use music is, who knows if a royalty free song now is not going to be royalty free later. And so I just don't, but mostly because of how my ear perceives sound sometimes. And it annoys me. It annoys my hearing. But so I remember a few years ago, someone I was cool with suggested I do an intro and an outro to my videos. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do use Canva for thumbnails, which I know some of you may be surprised because you're like, girl, your thumbnails are basic. I know. I'm a simple person. I'm a simple troll. And so I did a thumbnail, and in the beginning there was music. At the end, for the outro, there was music. And I think it was like 6 months later when I became monetized, I received all these emails. This video is demonetized. This video is demonetized. And I'm just like, what? It turned out to be all of the ones that had the intro and the outro because of the music. And the music was from Canva. And so what I did was, and it gave me options. It said you can either because it shows you, okay, this is the length of the video. It'll show you this between this timestamp and this timestamp is where the issue is, and between this timestamp and this timestamp. So it was just the intro and the outro. So I had an option of just deleting that entire clip in the beginning and at the end, or just deleting the music at the beginning and at the end. And so I manually went in and for each one, and thankfully it was only like 6 months, because and y'all know I pump out videos almost every day if you've been here before. So it was a lot, but it took me like a week to do it. And so I had to mute out the sound, and I, resubmitted, and they did monetize all of those videos. One video they did not, and I'm like, what happened? And I mentioned in that video my FetLife channel, and I'm like, oh. And I had only mentioned the acronym, which I said earlier in this one, so now I'm like, is this one not going to be monetized? But anyway, so I figured out that that's why, because I had mentioned that acronym, and I didn't even go into what it was. I just said what the acronym was. But even with that video, it was never remonetized, like never, just because of that. I don't know if it's different now, but I know not to say that. And so that channel's over there. And so you just make sure you're using royalty-free stuff. And if you're not sure, and I haven't looked into it, but I think that when you're uploading videos, YouTube will let you know what songs or music or videos are royalty-free. I haven't checked it because, as I said, I have no interest in having music in my videos. Yeah, I'm strange that way. Like, my ear picks up certain sounds, and I'm just like... And so, also, and we talked about, children. Just don't do that. Nothing explicit. Nothing... I don't even know what to say, but age group, because there are some adults who feel like certain things are okay, and I'm just like, that is not okay, and it's illegal. But anyway, yeah, don't do that type of stuff. So just be aware of what your content is, what your channel is about, and stick to that. And if it's not a kids channel, don't show or talk about certain things. And if your channel is for children, you already know what you can and cannot talk about. And usually it'll be something like children's books, or if you're a teacher, you might talk about lessons for your elementary class, or just like stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so, and avoid controversial topics, mistreatment of people, certain classes of people, certain genders of people. Don't talk about that stuff. And if you're an adult, do not be talking about that kind of stuff with minors. Don't do it. And what's crazy about that to me right now, not crazy, but ironic, is that some of the people in position now, they have charges against that stuff. And so you can help run the country, but don't talk about it on YouTube. So I'm just like, can't make this stuff up, y'all. I just, even with everything I said, if you know that your videos have something in it that may cause you to be demonetized, well, that video to be demonetized, you can opt not to have your videos monetized. There's a screen that you go through when you go to upload your video. You put in your description, you put in your tags, and is it for children, yes or no? Do you want automatic places? Which I put no, because automatic places are... Sidebar here. If you leave automatic places checked, if there's something in your background, like if I was at Christiana Mall and I'm doing a video and you see a certain store in the background, someone who's watching that video, it may pop up like, this is where this is. So you will know exactly like where I was. And that can, like if somebody wants to stalk you or something, they can find you that way. So I always click that off even though I'm here. Like there's nothing to identify, but I still just click no for automatic places. But then there's a button that says next at the bottom, and you click next and it'll say, do you want to monetize, yes or no? And so I click yes. If you know your video has something in it that may cause you to be that video to be demonetized, just click no and don't monetize that video. And I think that that's what some content creators do now, because they'll play a video of something, the newstainment type stuff. They'll show a video of something, they'll play music of something, and it'll be longer than a few seconds. And I'm like, I know they wouldn't get monetized for that. And so I do think they are just clicking no for monetization, which is fine. So that's an easy out for you. If you know it's going to be an issue, just click no to not monetize that video. And then I'll ask you, are you sure? If you know, then yes, you're sure. And so how can you get your channel back, or try to get your channel back, if you are demonetized? evaluate the content of that video. And as I said, for me, it showed me the time frames, the timestamps in each particular video where the problem was. And then I was able to either just leave it as it is and not have it monetized or remonetized. So it was like an appeal thing. Or just delete that whole section or not. And so evaluate what it is that they're saying you did that you shouldn't have done. If you're using music, make sure it was copyrighted. Because when you appeal, that's when a person looks at it. So I do think that some of the demonetizations is just automatic. Like whatever happens triggers something. And when you appeal, that's when I think a person lays eyes on it and looks at the video and they figure out, okay, they did change this year, let's go ahead and monetize it or whatever. So that's my theory, is that once you appeal, like a person lays eyes on it and they make a decision. So make sure before you even appeal, if that's what you want to do, make sure everything is as it should be. Because if you don't and you appeal it and what they're saying really is what happened, you're not going to win. And you can also get in touch with YouTube support, and that's how you file an appeal. And it is quite easy to do. And I already mentioned disabling monetization for certain types of content, which would be your best bet if you know that something in there could be bothersome. If also, I don't know the time frame, but I do know if you are monetized and you don't do videos for a long time, and again, I don't know the time frame, but if you don't do videos for a certain amount of time, you can be demonetized for that. And in that instance, you will have to start over getting your 4,000 watch hours. You'll still have all your subscribers, but you'll have to start from day one to get 4,000 watch hours in order for your channel to be monetized again. So if you're doing videos and you are monetized, and if you're a larger channel, then I know that things happen, but try to do a video here and there somewhere just to keep you on the radar, you know what I mean? And so we're going to now talk about strikes. Strikes are when your channel may be demonetized and you may lose your live streaming privileges. And there are some, and that's live streaming here through YouTube. There are a lot of people who do live streaming through, I think their Patreon. Some people use StreamYard, that type of thing. So I don't know how that affects that, but I just do mine through YouTube because it is easier for me to just keep everything in-house. I do my videos here, do my live streams here, do my shorts here. And, as I said, I'm a simple troll. But that may be a way around it, I'm not sure. And so if you are demonetized, your first strike may disable all of that. And a strike is good for 90 days. So like say you get a strike today, you got 3 months before that's not as relevant. If you get 2 strikes in 90 days, you won't be able to post videos for 2 weeks. And your channel will be disabled. And once that time has passed, whatever the time frame is, your channel will be restored. And I already said that each strike lasts for 90 days. But if you get 2 within 90 days, your channel will be disabled. You will not be able to upload anything until 90 days, I am presuming, has passed. If you get 3 strikes within a 90-day period, your channel may be permanently removed. And I know this is tricky for some people because I've watched a few videos and they're like, I already have 2 strikes. I don't know the time frame, but it's just like, and there's a channel I watch. It's not quite newstainment, but in a way it is, but it's not dramatic. It's not over the top. It's not sensationalism. And when this political climate started getting more crazy, I'll say, he was saying in his videos, we're going to ride this train till the wheels fall off. And the way he would say that, I knew that he was concerned about his channel because of what he was talking about. And, he's still here. So things worked out. But and he wasn't jeopardized or anything, but he was just saying we're going to be here till it falls off. But he did, you know, do a membership, and he did start, I don't know if he always had a Patreon or not. And so he'll do a lot of content on Patreon, and he'll do members only live streams and stuff like that. And so that could be a way around it. Doing live streams is fun, but you just have to physically be present. Like even like doing a video, like I have to be here to do the video. And so for live streams, I have to be here to do whatever is to be done because it's not pre-recorded like this is, you know what I mean? And so there is a time commitment involved with that. And, you know, your health needs to be okay. You need to be able to sit there and do the live stream, talk about whatever, have your notes or whatever, or if you just wing it, because I have seen some channels, their live streams, you know, somebody will comment and that'll be the topic. And then somebody else will ask a question, that'll be the topic. For me, I do always have a topic. And sometimes I go off the rails and then I make my way back to the rail. But I do like to have a topic because just to keep things flowing. So if you have any questions, was any of this new to you? And I do feel like this was a lot of information, and I did condense it because for each thing they gave examples and talked about blah, blah, blah. And I said, let me just keep this as short as possible because I don't want to overwhelm anybody. But let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you've seen videos of people saying they were demonetized and now they're coming back, or, you know, their channel was taken down. You know, let me know if you have seen videos like that. And those videos do get a lot of views because one, people want to know stuff. Let's be honest. That's why the reaction channels are huge, like 200,000 some subscribers, huge. But because people want to know stuff. And also because it's like, oh my gosh, that happened. How can I avoid that? Or how did they get it fixed? Or what did they do? And so I do understand why they get high views. I don't know what the percentage is of who watches that are content creators themselves or not, but as a content creator, like I would be like, well, what happened and how you fix it, or did you start over? And I already mentioned the one thumbnail I saw today. Yeah, she said like X amount, you know, she had over 10,000 subscribers according to the thumbnail and her title. And when I clicked on her channel, she had 3,000 subscribers. So I'm like, okay, well, this is legit. Like she really like lost her channel, but I didn't watch it. So I don't know what the content was or what the reason was, but let me know if you've seen video titles or thumbnails like that. Let me know down below if you've watched videos like that. Let me know if anything I'm saying, you're like, what? Wait a minute. Or is this not new news to you? And if you do content here, let me know if this was helpful to you and if it was informational to you. And also for all of you watching, again, I appreciate you being here. Let me know if there's topics, other things that you would like me to look up and talk about here. And the ending of my intro for my makeup and skincare videos is, yes, we're going to go, self-love, self-acceptance and self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon. There is a playlist popping up over here that's called Let's Talk About It. So it's things that we just come on and we talk about. So if you have time to hang out, go ahead and click on there and just see which one of those videos you want to watch, or just watch them all. And you will see me in the next video. Thanks.